been so long since I made my last video that it's summer now. Wow. So yeah, self-help. I spent way too much time in that world, books, podcasts, the 3-minute reels telling you how to fix your life in one sentence and whatnot. And for a while I really did believe that I was changing, like I was convinced, but that wasn't the case. I was just collecting knowledge, highlighting quotes, saving clips, feeling good about thinking about change instead of actually doing anything about it. I think that's the trap. It feels productive, it feels like progress, but it's not. It's just dopamine. It's mental junk food dressed up like a salad. You get that little hit of inspiration. You feel like, yeah, I'm gonna turn my life around, and then 2 hours later you're scrolling again, or procrastinating, or avoiding the exact same stuff you were trying to fix. I mean, tell me if this sounds familiar. You read a great quote, you nod your head, you feel inspired, and then you go do the exact same thing you've always done. No action, just winging it and just, doing your thing. And I don't say this to judge anyone. I say it because I've been that guy. Honestly, I still fall into it every now and then. There's this weird comfort in consuming self-help, because it gives you this illusion that you're working on yourself, that you're growing, that that you're moving forward. But sometimes it's just another form of avoidance of stagnation. Because real growth, real change is uncomfortable. It asks things from us, from you. It costs energy, discipline, honesty. And self-help, especially the kind that we all consume passively, lets us all skip that without, dealing with any real short-term repercussions. We only have long-term ones. And that means that we don't straight away realize that these are the repercussions. It's getting windy. At least it's a good day. At least my face is lit properly. And I hope I sound okay too. And self-help, especially the kind that we consume, lets us all skip that. You don't have to make a hard decision. You don't have to confront your bad habits. You don't have to sit with the fact that maybe you are a bit lost. You just read something and feel a little smarter, a little more in control. But that's all it is. It's a feeling. That's about all that there is to it. So, and here's the thing. It's not that self-help is bad. It's not bad. Some of it is incredibly valuable. There are books that have genuinely changed the way that I think, that I perceive things. There's conversations that, I've heard and I've had that hit me at the exact right moment and changed my life in a lot of different ways. But no one really talks about when self-help actually works. And the truth is, it only works when you're ready to hear it. You could read the same sentence 100 times and feel nothing, and then one day, when you're just raw, when something's cracked open in you, the same sentence feel like someone just exposed your soul. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's when it means something. That's when it stops being just information and like consumable content. And that's when it starts becoming transformational. And for me, that shift only happened when I started asking different questions, not like what's the best morning routine and stuff like that. Not how do I become a productivity machine, but more like what am I avoiding right now? Why do I feel the need to constantly fix myself? And what's one small thing I can actually do today that's real, that's tangible, that is gonna have a reward mechanism? Because let's be honest, change doesn't look like a movie montage. It doesn't come with dramatic music and just like a glowing sunset, and it's boring, it's repetitive, it's boring. It's making one slightly better decision over and over and over again until it becomes a part of who you are. That's what change is to me. And I think for a while I was addicted to the idea of change, the aesthetic of it, the fantasy of it. Like, new era, clean slate, this is my glow up. I can't believe I just said that. But I wasn't doing any of the hard, unsexy stuff that actually creates growth and stimulates the growth inflicting mindset in our minds. I wasn't facing the habits that I didn't want to admit I had. I wasn't being honest about my laziness or fear or like shame, let's be honest. I was just consuming ideas and calling it healing because that was trendy at the time, and that is always trendy. Let's be honest. And when I did finally start doing the work, it didn't look cool. It, more often than not, doesn't look cool. It was me sitting in silence, writing some truth that I didn't want to admit. It was dragging myself out of bed when I had no motivation. It was, choosing to stay off my phone for just 1 hour more so I could fuel my life instead of just frying my dopamine receptors again. Excuse me, that's a maintenance vehicle, I think. Yeah, so as I said, I was choosing to stay off my phone for just 1 extra hour so I could do something instead of, stimulating my mind the way that it was never supposed to be stimulated. It was uncomfortable, but it was real. It felt real. It felt in the moment. It felt, to repeat myself, tangible. And funny enough, what helped me most was not some new tip or trick or strategy or this, secret trick that we all look for. It wasn't anything like that. It was revisiting something I already knew. It was something I had read hundreds of times, but never really heard, never really resonated with, never really tried to resonate with. Yeah, and instead of rushing to apply it, or just turn it into a routine. I just sat with it. I let it breathe, let it settle. I said, alright, this is where I am at. Cool. What's the practical approach? Let's build from here, from where I am at the moment. And yeah, that's what I did. That's what I am doing presently. No guilt, no panic, just curiosity, I guess. Yeah, just curiosity. Because it wasn't just judgment. It wasn't just some desperate need to constantly evolve and improve. It was just gently asking myself, what's going on here? And then moving up from there. You know, why do I feel stuck? What am I scared of? What would happen if I just stayed present with this feeling instead of running from it, trying to avoid it, trying to numb it down and just ignore it in like a plethora of ways. Because sometimes it's the pressure to constantly optimize yourself that keeps you stuck. You're chasing a future version of you so hard, so hard, that you forget to even look at who you are now, and you forget that this version, as inconsistent, as unsure it is, deserves love and patience and just to be treated well. And look, I still like self-help. I still read it. I still watch the occasional video. It's at this point, I can call it a guilty pleasure. And I still listen to podcasts, but now I treat it like a tool, not like my whole fucking personality, because that's wrong. I'm not trying to build some perfect version of me. I'm just trying to be here in the middle of it, in the process. And I guess use what I learned to make tiny, meaningful shifts when I'm ready. Key point, when I'm ready. And not out of guilt, not out of shame, but because I want to show up better for myself and the people that I care about, the people that matter to me. So if you're deep in the, self-help world right now, reading everything, watching everything, trying to, fix yourself, just ask yourself this question. Am I doing this act of consuming content? Am I doing this because I truly want to grow? Or am I doing this because I'm too scared to be in silence, to sit still? I really hope this makes sense, because I'm trying my hardest. Because sometimes growth doesn't look like more input. Sometimes growth looks like the silence that we all want to avoid, the seemingly complacent state of being that we are so afraid of. Sometimes that's what growth is. Stillness, honesty to yourself, more so than anything else. And either way, whatever your answer is, that's okay. But only one of those paths leads somewhere real. Only one of them leads somewhere real. I'm rooting for you. Have a great day.